within a single political structure dominated by one ethnic group undermine merit-based appointments, institutional balance, and professional independence. How can we have over 70% of the executive staff at the Ministry of Labor coming from one ethnic group? A similar pattern is taking place within the governance cycle of the Unity Party, with over 60% of cabinet ministers allegedly coming from the county of the president. This trend raises serious concerns about inclusivity, equity, and national balance in public governance and decision making. If this is not one of the worst mistakes ever in governance sector, then we don't know what exactly to call it. Since its establishment, LILGA has grown into a trusted labor and governance advocacy institution. Over the years, we have defended workers through legal representation, supportive collective bargaining processes, exposed exploitative labor practices, and engaged policymakers with evidence-based reform. Our advocacy has led to several major interventions. Notably, we helped secure over $102,000 in compensation for Mrs. Benu Soni in conjunction with other labor advocacy group. She is a worker who lost both legs in workplace accident and was initially denied a rightful benefit. We also advocated for 32 contractor workers at the Intercontinental Construction Company that is now taking over the project of New Redemption Hospital project site in Caldwell, ensuring they receive their overtime wage and holiday benefits. In partnership with civil society organizations like the Solidarity and Stand for a New Day, we further advocated for 102 construction workers at New Platinum Company Hotel that is in Congo Town, where we saw that their overtime benefit and other benefits were provided to them. Through sustained pressure and engagement, all 102 workers received their full entitlements. In 2025, LILGA also drafted and submitted a proposed bill to amend Liberia minimum wage law, an effort that has been widely reported by major media outlets including Front Page Africa, Liberian Investigator, DN News, The New Dawn, Africa Business, and some other international partners. Our work has supported dock workers union at the National Port Authority, workers at the Seti Steel Company, part-time workers of the University of Liberia, workers at the National Club Beer Factory, agricultural workers, Firestone, and energy workers at the Liberia Electricity Corporation, who are often institutions where workers secure victories, not because institutional function as they should, but because they organize and demanded us to help seek justice for them. In 2025 also, our advocacy deepened. What we uncovered during the period is troubling and cannot be ignored. This report documents how Liberia labor regulatory system, particularly the administration of foreign work permits, collapsed under corruption, favoritism, and weak administration of foreign work permits. We also noticed that the 2025 period saw the Ministry of Labor being compromised and thereby leading to weak enforcement of the December Act of Liberia. While millions of United States dollars were reportedly generated from alien work permit fees, official data and investigation conducted by our team showed that over 7,000 work permits were issued for jobs legally reserved for Liberia. A good example is the case that is currently taking place in Nema County, where over 142 Ghanaians and Togolese are doing jobs Liberians can do. Example of the job is building scaffolds. Like already mentioned above, one of the foundational causes of the severe mismanagement we have witnessed in the Liberia government sector stem from political decisions at the highest level of governance. The decision to effectively concentrate control of a strategic national institution as the Ministry of Labor within a single political structure dominated by one ethnic grouping weakened institutional balance and undermined professional independence. This approach eroded merit-based appointment discouraged internal accountability and created an environment where loyalty replaced competence. Equally troubling was the apparent failure to conduct vigorous vetting of presidential nominees. Senior positions within the ministry, including the minister, deputy minister for administration, assistant minister, deputy inspector general, comptroller, procurement director, and human resource director, became overwhelmingly concentrated within one ethnic group. To be specific, the tribal group of Tengbeh County that is commonly referred to as the Giyo people. Such a pattern is neither accidental nor harmless. It signals systemic exclusion, fuels perception of favoritism, tribalism, and ultimately paralyzes institutional effectiveness. And fellow Liberians didn't bring it to your attention. 1 month ago, we published that the Ministry of Labor has come up with a decision to terminate contract of over 150 contractors. That decision has been factual because it has been proven that the Ministry of Labor has finally cancelled every contract agreement between contractors and the Ministry of Labor. What that tells you, it tells you that the human resource manager, who is already a kinsman of the Minister of Labor from one ethnic group, will do all he can to bring on board people of his kind. And this is something that we have been talking about, and the minister is adamant on doing the needful. Labor governance strives on fairness, diversity, professionalism, and public trust. When the ministry entrusted with protecting all workers appears captured by narrow political or ethnic interests, the result is predictable: weakened enforcement, internal corruption, and the collapse of credibility. Liberia labor sector did not fail by chance. It failed because governance choices ignored inclusivity, competence, and institutional safeguards. Our investigation further uncovered administrative favoritism and leadership failure within the Ministry of Labor. Matthew Jones, for our example, a labor inspector, was dismissed for issues of alleged corruption, but notoriously corrupt individuals like the Labor Commissioner for Margibi County, Deputy Minister for Administration, Assistant Minister for Labor Standard, etc., were not punished or reported to the President of Liberia, given their high level of corruption. We have published these things. We even published the Assistant Minister on Labor Standard, Minister Emmanuel Zor, when he issued a temporary work permit outside his jurisdiction. That was another form of corruption. We also published document that prove the Labor Commissioner for Lower Margibi County collected funds, created his own customer receipt to collect funds in his own name, and that money should have been channeled through the Liberia Revenue Authority. That did not happen. That was another form of corruption. Meanwhile, a highly publicized audit resulted in the revocation of only 19 work permits nationwide, raising serious questions about transparency and intent. The revoked permits were never publicly listed on the Ministry of Labor website, and the violators were not repatriated. The minister came up and said, 19 work permits have been revoked. We did not see a single foreigner leaving from our country. We don't have documents. There was no document published on the Ministry of Labor website to authenticate that indeed 19 persons, permits were revoked and they have left our country. We published evidence covering the corrupt nature of the Ministry of Labor, but nothing has been done. Some ministry employees went unpaid for over 9 months. And some of them, I can say to you, they have been unpaid for over 13 months. And these things have been documented. Funds that should have been paid directly to the Liberia Revenue Authority were instead diverted by individuals within the Ministry of Labor. A good example is that our open secret, now I'm bringing it up to you people, is simple. The Ministry of Labor will now tell you, say, come as a foreign company, the work permit fee is $3,000. But you can come through this channel and pay $1,500. You pay $1,500, then you pay the $500 to us. You go to the LRA and pay $1,000. Then by that they'll tell you, say, okay, The receipt they will give you is going to be a backdated receipt. Now, we are not just saying that because we want to say it, because we have been at the LRA where we saw current receipt, backdated to August, to June, to July. The new work permit fee, $3,000, took effect as of September 1st. Why do we still have receipt emanating from the LRA, carrying dates that have already been passed? The justification from agents at the LRA is that those receipts have already been long-standing. Those documents, those invoices or pieces of invoices were long-standing, and that the ministry did agree for the employees to pay against them. We see it to be another channel of corruption. We know those are the fallacies, those were situations created so that the ministry can pocket, what they have been pocketing for some time. This report also exposed harsh conditions faced by workers on major construction and concession sites. In Grand Bassa County, we documented 64 workers housed in a 3-bedroom apartment with no electricity, no sanitation or privacy, no first aid on site, no occupation safety protection at the work site, and no routine violation of overtime, no holiday benefit, and Sunday wage provision under the Decent Work Act of Liberia. This is a story that we ourselves went there. We engaged those workers, and those workers are under the auspices of Sigma Group. So Sigma Group sent some workers there, and we realized that when the workers are even climbing up on scaffolds, they have no safety belts. There is no public latrine, not a single public latrine on the construction site. Workers are condemned to go to the butchers to ease themselves. 64 persons eating 18 cups of rice. You do the math. You tell me how much can it contain the energy of those workers. And those workers most aggressively have not been paid their overtime benefit, their Sunday benefits. However, in areas like bond mines, like the bond mining companies, we saw that construction workers that are working there with the company, or generally workers, have been denied access from labor inspector or their commissioners. When they go there, higher authority from the Ministry of Labor will call this inspector and commissioner and tell them to leave the site and go home. This is not news for now. It has been a news for a very long time. It's so saddening that many of our workers at the Ministry of Labor will not do due diligence in the interest of the people. However, this report is not solely a record of failure. We also documented and acknowledged limited but notable improvement in the Ministry of Labor engagement in specific areas. Particularly, the Ministry of Labor also helped the fashion agricultural workers through their compensation and discussion of bargaining that saw over 200 persons getting employed, and we also saw that over 25% of their salaries were increased. Also, there was some good news at the National Port Authority when we saw workers working at the APN terminal having some, some respect for their wages and their overtime benefits and increment in their salary as well. So on those notes, we say thank you to the Ministry of Labor for their intervention in whatever way. However, in 2025, Liberian workers organized, protested, negotiated, and won. From salary increase and improved benefits to commitment for permanent employment and safe work conditions, workers demonstrated courage where institutions hesitated. LILGA stood with them. We were there with them during the rain and the sunny days. We documented abuses. We amplified their voices and insisted that the law be respected. Looking ahead of 2026 and beyond, LILGA mission is clear. We will intensify our push for transparency and accountability in labor administration, including independent oversight of work permit system. We are also elevating child labor and child trafficking as a priority pillar of our work. Recent United States government report on Liberia underscored the urgency of this crisis. In response, LILGA is establishing a county-based child labor and trafficking investigation platform and will deploy trained volunteers across Liberia to uncover cases support referrals, and collaborate with national and international partners to protect vulnerable children. Our vision is a Liberia where labor laws are not symbolic, where work creates dignity, not exploitation, and where institutions serve the people, not private interests. This annual labor report is a call to conscience, a challenge policymakers to act, institutions to reform, employers to comply, and citizens to demand better. Hence, to close this report, it is important that we read for you the scorecard of the Ministry of Labor Workings in Liberia. On the area of alien work permit and compliance, the Ministry of Labor has been graded F in the year of 2025. On the area of revenue generation, the Ministry of Labor has been graded an A+. The Ministry of Labor has been seen right now as the second most generating revenue entity of our country. Testament to their October 2025 report that says the ministry generated 1.8 million from alien work permit. That means 600 Liberians lost their jobs to foreigners. In the month of September, they generated 1.7 million. That means 566 Liberians lost their jobs in that period. On the area of audit, transparency, and enforcement, the Ministry of Labor has been graded F. On the area of child labor prevention and enforcement, after our data analysis, investigation, and report, the Ministry of Labor has been graded D. On the area of child trafficking and protection, the Ministry of Labor has been graded D, and this is a testament to the United States Department Tier 2 report on Liberia. On the area of labor inspection and compliance and checks, the Ministry of Labor has been graded F. On the area of revenue accountability, like the Liberia Revenue Remittance and Compliance, the Ministry of Labor has been graded an F because many monies that should have been, thrown to the covers of the Liberian government has been thrown out to pockets of individuals at the Ministry of Labor. On the area of protection of Liberian employment and their rights at work, the Ministry of Labor has been graded an F. On the area of institutional governance and internal integrity, the Ministry of Labor again got an F. And on the area of workers' relations and collective bargaining support, the Ministry of Labor got a C+. And on the area of occupational safety and health and enforcement, the Ministry of Labor has been graded an F. This is a testament to the workers that have died through the process, like King George massacre, like in Chikisu Factory, City Steel Company, when we reported situation of workers working on a hazardous situation. 1 week later, someone died, and that was because of the negligence of the Ministry of Labor. And the overall institutional score of the Ministry of Labor in the period of 2025 is an F. Therefore, we invite the media, the lawmakers, and development partners, and the public to read this report carefully. A copy of the report is here before us, and you can have a copy. It will be published on Facebook, online, and on other media platforms and institutions. We want the public to read this report carefully, engage its findings honestly, and join us in building a labor system that truly works for Liberia. Thank you, and we will take a few questions.
So we'll go across the aisle for questions. And maybe you can just call your institution.
So you can call your institution.
I'll be asking the question. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is John Zeze from Fast TV. I'm interested to know in this report you have read. What is your focus? What do you anticipate?
So we anticipate a labor system that will employ labor governance. Without labor governance, our labor sector is done. Like we said in previous report, the Ministry of Labor should start focusing on providing chances or means to harmonize our labor law. That is the first thing. The second thing, the Ministry of Labor, and we will push them to do that. Then we push them, we were the one that pushed the Ministry of Labor to create a website after 2 years. Finally, they got a functional website, but that website still there are mistakes. They need to update the website. They need to put areas where we will have different platforms, like the Design Where Out of Liberia needs to be there. all of the companies in Liberia that are employing Liberians needs to be there. I don't need to go to the Ministry of Labor before I can get those kind of information. So we will push the Ministry of Labor to do the right thing, and we will serve as Liberia Labor Police as it has been seen for now.
Okay, my name is Makaris and I work for Live TV Africa. I'm deeply concerned to know about the workers' welfare benefit in terms of this report. Where do we stand for those workers for various sides? You just mentioned in the report that it will benefit as well.
So as we speak, currently we have not just documented reports. We are moving to the trenches. We are going to the butchers. So those workers that have been mentioned in this report, like take for an example, workers at Sigma Group. We are going to discuss, meet with the management. There is a meeting coming up currently for this month. We will meet with them. We have already written them. We have served them notice, and we have provided information, deep information that are concerning. So these reports, they will call us. We will have a conference. We will have a meeting, and we will represent the interests of these workers in line with the different workers' unions or workers' organizations that are representing these workers. We are not taking the job function of worker union in our country, but we are here to provide institutional analysis and report to support the workings of trade and worker unions and the Ministry of Labor in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Domingo Dabra, right, for the award-winning Improper newspaper. Mr. Tengbeh, with all of these, your quest is to make sure Liberians benefit from the job that is intended for them and to see the labor sector improve. Are you open in working with the Labor Minister and the Ministry of Labor as a whole to make sure all of these issues that our Liberians brothers and sisters are facing, minimum saying, make sure these people get a job? Are you open to make sure you work with the Ministry of Labor?
So these questions questions like this has always come up. The thing is, we are open to providing solutions for problems in our country. What I can say to anyone for free is that we are not willing to see ourselves serving under the microscope of the Ministry of Labor, because what we are doing here is good. We want to be there for workers. We want to go to the trenches and uncover these cases. But when it comes to recommendation for the way forward, when it comes to serving as consultant on certain projects that should benefit workers, of course, we give our personal expertise to the Ministry of Labor at any time.
Yeah.
So my name is Jain Tomina, right, for Front Page Africa. You made mention of sending a bill to the legislature regarding the decent web bill. So let's say, I want to know what has been the push so far. What response have you received in that letter regarding the increment for the decent web bill? Another concern has to do with your allegations against the Ministry of Labor. I want to know on what background did you call your 70% of employees at the Ministry of Labor being from a particular region and ethnicity. Okay. So I want to know that, and if you have gotten that, and what your recommendation to the Ministry of Labor from the president perspective, because you also allege that majority of the minister, cabinet minister, are also from the Lofa County.
Right. So that was a good question, and on the issue of the Ministry of Labor, our report has underscored 70% of the executive members, the executive committee at the Ministry of Labor, meaning top hierarchy position, 70% belongs to one ethnic group. That is not fallacy, it's fine. Testament to this is the minister is a Gio man. The deputy minister for administration, Mensu, is a Gio man. The procurement director is a Gio lady. The human resource manager is a Gio man. The assistant minister on labor channel is also a Gio man. And if you want, we can go down the list and again. So if you just sort out all of the people from that angle, it tells you that over 70% of the executive members or executive committee members at the Ministry of Labor belongs to one ethnic group. And since that is the case, the best way we can solve this problem, because this will only improve favoritism. This will improve one man is being seen as the heaven in the eyes of the minister because he supports the minister and because they are from the same kingship. But if we follow the constitution of our country, Article 18, that talks about employment based on merit, that talks about employment not based on tribe, that talks about employment based on your professionalism, then we will see that the Ministry of Labor will be, a ministry that will not focus only on, 15% getting in the pickup today, and all of the 15 people, they are from one ethnic group to go and conduct inspection. I can tell you this for free. The inspectors at the Ministry of Labor and the commissioner, those that are allowed to go out there in the field to conduct inspection anytime and every time, are people from the Ministry of Care. They are not independent people. They are not people from different tribal groups. So these things malign the character of the Ministry of Labor. It destroys it. It means one man can wake up and go do inspection because he is the son of the minister or the best friend of the minister. The deputy minister, the deputy inspector general at the Ministry of Labor, he goes out anytime, doubts. He do anything anytime. When other members of the hierarchy of the executive, ministers, assistant minister, or even deputy minister wants to go out and conduct inspection, Darius will take telephone and call them. Hey, if they think you're doing, you're ask the minister, but you, Darius, do you also ask the minister before going out to conduct inspection? No. So these things will happen because of what? Favoritism. And that is because of the high level of tribalism practice at the Ministry of Labor. So to your first question, sorry, I have forgotten your first question.
My first question has to do with the bill.
The bill. So we submitted the minimum wage bill. We submitted copy to the speaker. We submitted copy to the Senate Chair on Labor, Senator Thomas Yaya Nimle. We also submitted copy to Representative Small Moba because he was the one who came up with the bill. But we saw it that they see what we have researched, worked on, and submitted to them as a slap in their faces, because Representative Small Moba might think, oh, if we don't flow with the bill that I have submitted, if it comes from, from LILGA angle, maybe, he will take the glory. But this thing is not ever glory. And as I speak to you now, we have not been called, we have not been talked to, and every segment of our legislative branch of government has a copy, but we have not been called, we have not been talked to, and nobody cares. But that bill is the foundation for which, if workers in our country should have improved wages, that bill that we submitted, that reform bill that we submitted, will be adhered to. They will review it and they will listen to the things that we have mentioned, because these things support the things that he talked about, but he forgot the foundation in structural analysis that should have been adhered to before the pushing such a bill.
Follow up to that question. So can you be very specific to what was the stipulated amount within the bill you submitted?
So in that bill he submitted, he is asking that each worker should be paid $250 minimum as a minimum wage. We are saying that bill did not take into consideration labor market data. That bill did not declassify the workforce of our country. Take for an example, you are a cameraman, maybe you are a professional cameraman, you have your diploma from this training. We cannot still call you an informal worker. No way. We need to declassify you to make you, maybe call you a semi-skilled person, because according to our laws, people with degrees are referred to as skilled workers. But how about those people who got technical degrees? Are you saying we're not calling informal workers? So these are some of the lapses in the lawmaker bill. Declassification of the law has not been done. We need to declassify workforce: informal, formal, semi-formal, professionals. Then before we start to talk about analyzing the labor data, the labor market data, which of the sector in our labor market is performing better. Then we come to key performance indicators. So the sector that is doing more, we say, okay, based on the annual labor review through the minimum wage commission of our country, let's sit down and have a discussion to increase this sector wage because their performance is on the increase. These things has not been done. He didn't even talk about data from wages. How did he come up with that figure, $250? You need to conduct data analysis from wages, labor market, Liberia revenue, authoritative compliance. Are workers in compliance? Are they being published? Are workers paying the workers and giving them documents to prove, because our law talks about it. If you pay people, so these are mistakes we believe that the lawmaker made, and he should be able to review the bill that was submitted for it to be solved.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I want to say thank you so much for coming. We can call it a day.
Thank you so much.
Yes.